Good morning, everybody. We are live on YouTube right now, and I'm going to press record, and then I'll let May start us off. Good morning, everybody. We are live on YouTube. Hold on a second. And I'm going to press record. Oh my God, it's just always something, I swear. Let me turn off YouTube. All right. So May, whenever you are ready, you can start.
And good morning, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here. Just a little framing. My name is May. I use she, her pronouns. I am a Chinese American Jew, and I am located on Lenape land, otherwise known as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So this morning, we're going to be moving through the Shabbat morning liturgy in ways that may be familiar to you, in ways that may be unfamiliar to you. And so I just invite you to ground into the comfort, the discomfort, whatever may come up for you. Allow it to pass through you. You are so welcome here, and we are so grateful that you are here. Our service will be a combination of song and of poems and of a little teaching and a little Torah discussion. There will not be a formal Torah service this morning. Further framing for you. There will be a lot of singing, and unfortunately, we cannot all sing together because we would just overwhelm Zoom and we would overwhelm our ears. So I invite you to please, please, please sing along at home. This is one way that we can make community. And at many times, I will invite you to unmute and to take a verse, to take a line of something I'm singing, use the words yai dai dai. You don't have to know the words. Sing off tune, sing on tune, it doesn't matter. But I really encourage you, when I open up the floor, go ahead and take a verse and unmute yourself. And then go back on mute so we can open up the floor for someone else and hear them clearly. And with that, one more thing. There is a prayer book that Rabbi Sandra has put into the chat box. I will be calling out page numbers, and they should correlate with the pages on this at this link. Okay, so all of the words I'll be reading will mostly be from this link or otherwise in the chat if you need them. So with that, welcome. Thank you for being here. And we're going to get started with a poem. This poem is called Zoomed Out, or What to Do When Everyone You Know, Love, and Dream of a Better World With is in a 1-inch talking head in a pixelated box, by Adam Horowitz. Praise their presence, grieve their absence. Grow in your capacity to be touched by other faces and to not touch your own. Look someone directly in the eyes. They won't know. And send them love and a prayer for the well-being of everyone they care about. Try to wrap your mind around how they got here, in front of you. If that doesn't spark radical amazement, try to explain how you got here and who you is. Wiggle your toes and watch the freshly budding tree rustle outside your window. Envision that tree occupying one of the squares on the screen. Ask what they would like to contribute to the conversation. Take your dreams off of mute and drop your spells in the chat box. Then, dazed by days online, unblock the gridlock with a tech Sabbath. Recover 3 dimensions, reach for a 4th. And remember, we'll be back at the bonfire before long. Gather your poetry, prepare your song. So we will begin on page 153, beginning with gratitude with the Birchot HaShachar. If you're joining us, the prayer book has just been dropped in the chat, so feel free to scroll to page 153. This is a melody that I wrote for Havdalah. I will be trying to incorporate melodies by Jews of color and other diverse people today. And another note of framing, I will be singing the tune. At the end of every page, we will go into a nigun, a wordless melody. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim hamavir she'enai me'enai utnu mamei afapai yadai dai 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 yadai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim hanoten lesachivin al-chabim ben yom uben laila Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim roka haaretz al hamayim yadai dai 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 yadai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim pokeach ivrim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim malbish arumim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim matir asurim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim zokef kefufim yadai dai 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 yadai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim hamechim mitzadei gaver Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim she'asa li kol tzorki Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim Ozei Yisrael b'gvura Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim Oter Yisrael betifara Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim she'asani be'tzalmo Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim she'asani bat chorin Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim she'asani Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu chei ha'olamim hanoten la'ayef koach yadai dai 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 yadai dai 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 Feel free to come off mute if you want and take a verse or two. Sing it as yai da da. You don't have to know the words. Well, thank you. We will continue this practice. So as you pick up tunes and melodies, I will invite you to come off mute and sing words or yai dai dai. The right tune, or not, it doesn't matter. Everything is right here. All right, we move to page 162 and 163 to continue with our morning blessings and to give thanks for our bodies. Blessed are you, the architect, our God, the sovereign of all worlds, who shaped the human being with wisdom, making for us all the openings and vessels of the body. It is revealed and known before your throne of glory that if one of these passageways be open when it should be closed, or blocked up when it should be free, one could not stay alive or stand before you. Blessed are you, miraculous, the wondrous healer of all flesh. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah ubarav u'nekavim nakovim halulim halulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chavodecha she'im yipatecha echad mechem o yisatem echad mehem yifshar lehitkayem v'l'amod lefanecha Baruch ata Adonai rofei chol basar u'mafli la'asot. We turn to page 165 for Elohai Neshama. This is a blessing in which we give thanks for breath. We say Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tahora Hi, my God, the soul, the breath, right? These words mean the same thing, or their soul and breath. They're are both translations for the word nishaha. So this breath that you have given to me, it is pure. And I've been chanting or singing some version of this every day recently because breath just feels so important. And it feels so sacred. And it doesn't feel like something we can take for granted. It doesn't feel like something we can take for granted when people are dying from COVID-19, which primarily hits the respiratory system. It doesn't feel like something we can take for granted when Black bodies are being murdered by police. It doesn't feel like something we can take for granted when environmental racism exists in our communities for so many reasons. Breath is not something that we can take for granted. And it is something that connects us all in this room, no matter what our differences are. We are all breathing and living. And it's something that connects us with the world outside, the trees and the plants that are breathing and that give us the oxygen to breathe. So we will sing these words with a tune by Chloe Pourmoradi, who is of Persian descent. Let me call it to mind for a second. Hello, hi, Nishama. You repeat in your spaces after me. Shanatatabi. 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 Tehorahi. Hello, hi, Nishama. Shama Shanatatabi Shanatatabi Tehorahi Elohai Neshama
Elohai Neshama
Shanatatabi
Shanatatabi
Shanatatabi Tehorahi Eloi nishama.
Elohai neshama.
Janatan tabi.
Shanatatabi.
Janatan tabi. Tehorahi. Who else wants to lead?
Elohai neshama. Shanatatabi.
Janatan tabi. Tehorahi. Who else? Eloi nishama, Eloi nishama,
Neshama.
Janatan tabi,
Shanatatabi.
Janatan tabi, Tehorahi. Your breath is so sacred, so holy. It's a blessing to be here with all of you. We will turn now to page 200 for Psalm 136. This is a tune by Deborah Saxmans. Hodul Adonai ki tov, ki leolam chasto. Hodul Elohei Elohim, ki leolam chasto. Hodul Adonai Adomim, ki leolam chasto. Loseni flaot, gedolot levado. Ki leolam chasto, leose hashamayim mipuna, leroka haaretz al hamayim. Ki leolam chasto, leose orim gdolim. Ki leolam chasto, et Hashem b'shlamim shlet bayom. Ki leolam chasto, et hayerchoi belchavim lememshlat balayla. Ki leolam chasto, shebeshifleinu zachalanu. Ki leolam chasto, vayifrekenu mitzarenu. Ki leolam chasto, noten lechem lechol basar. Ki leolam chasto, hodu le'el hashamayim. Ki leolam chasto. Get ready to come off of mute if you want to sing along and take a verse with yai die 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 die. It's your turn now, so sing a verse. One more person, come off of mute and sing along, please. It doesn't matter if the notes are what I'm singing or if the words are the same. Don't be shy, we're all going to sing. It's how we build community in this time of Zoom. I don't want to sing to you for all of this time. You are so welcome. Please come off mute so that I can stop. Thank you. I'd love to hear your voice. Don't be shy. You're welcome here. Thank you. We're all going to keep singing together. Thanks for helping. Okay, we are going to turn to page 215 for Psalm 121. So I'm going to turn there. We're going to sing the words of Issa, A9, the English. I lift my eyes up to the hills. From where does my help come? My help is from the unseen one, the maker of the heavens and the earth. This is a tune by my classmate at the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College, Solomon Hoffman. Esa Einai El Harim Me'ain Yavo Ezri Me'ain Yavo Ezri Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Esa Einai El Harim Me'ain Yavo Ezri Me'ain Yavo Ezri Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai dai dai. Now it is your turn to come off of mute and sing for us a piece, and sing with us a piece. Esa see you singing in your squares. Just press unmute and sing for us.
I need to hear it again.
El Harim, may I, Yavo Esri.
Beautiful, thank you. We're going to continue. We're going to say together, hallelujah. This page number is wrong in my document. We're going to move to page 231. It's a moment for praise. It's a call to mind. Whatever you're happy about, whatever you're glad about, whatever you feel capable of celebrating this morning and of calling out, hallelujah. This is a tune also by my classmate Adam Sereno Jones, if I can remember it. So bear with me. Hallelujah, 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 al-bekocho, hallelujah, berkia uzo, hallelujah, vingvuratam, hallelujah, kerov kudlo, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar, hallelujah, benedel v'chinor, hallelujah, betofu machol, hallelujah, beminim ve'ugav, hey, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 betiam slay shama, hallelujah, betiam slay trua, kol han shamam te hallelujah, kol han shamam te hallelujah, hey, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Someone else call it out.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Who's next? Call it out.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. More people, take it. We're celebrating. Hallelujah. 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 Okay. We'll move to 235. There's more opportunities to sing. Nishmat kol hayim, tivarech et shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. We bless every living thing. This is a tune by Joey Weisenberg. Nishmat kol chai, tivarech et shimcha, Hashem, Hashem, Eloheinu, Nishmat kol hai, Tvarech et shimcha, Hashem, Hashem, Eloheinu, yadadai, dai, 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 This tune may be familiar to you, so please feel free to come off of mute whenever you please. This space is yours. It is so good to be here with you.
Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Hashem Eloheinu. I forgot the tune.
Thank you, William. So now as we exit kind of these foundational morning prayers, I'm going to pause for this poem, which was written by Dory Midnight from Nishmat Shum in Northampton and edited by folks at Mending Minion in New Haven, Connecticut. It's a long poem, so get ready, but you have a part. After every verse that I read, you're going to reply, Hineni, I am here. Okay, feel free to come off mute. We're going to come off mute at the end for a big call and response that I'll put it into the chat now. These are the words that you'll say at the end. Let me see, everyone. Okay, so Hineni. If you are tired of looking at computer screens, if you resent having to do ritual online, if it feels wrong to be using technology on Shabbat, if Shabbat on Zoom feels like a possibility you didn't know you needed, Hineni.
Hineni.
If you don't feel Jewish enough, if you feel too Jewish, not the right kind of Jewish, if you aren't Jewish but love Judaism and Jews,
Hineni.
if you long for the touch of your friends and family, if you don't know how to digest this moment in your heart and bones, if you are screaming alone, crying alone, cooking alone, and singing alone, if you are asking for help, if you are figuring out how to give what you have,
Hineni.
if you are tired, if your throat aches, if your heart is heavy, if your shoulders are stiff and your jaw is clenched and your forehead furrowed,
Hineni.
if you are ready for revolution, if you are out protesting, if you are supporting the movement with your labor, care, and love, if you are organizing, if you are not sure what to do, if you are seeking to be in the right relationship with the community around you, if you are grappling and figuring it out, If you are taking steps to dismantle white supremacy and messing up,
Hineni.
if you don't know if you believe in God or what that means, if you are curious about exploring new names and pronouns and infinite genders of the divine, if you feel like you don't know how to pray, if the only thing you feel like you can do is pray, if you are homesick for something and long for spiritual practice,
Hineni.
if this is your first time coming to a Jewish gathering, if you've been going to services all your life, if you haven't been to services in years, if you don't know how to read Hebrew, if you have complicated feelings about Hebrew, if you love Torah, if you want to love Torah but struggle with it, if you don't really get why people are so into Torah, if you don't know when you're supposed to stand or sit or bow or which direction you're supposed to face and why, if you were raised in a traditional Jewish home, whatever that means, and you are in the process of opening to other ways to pray,
Hineni.
if Zionism has kept you away from Judaism, if talking about Israel and Palestine is breaking your family or friends circles apart, if you don't talk about Israel and Palestine in your family, if you've been waiting your whole life for someone to say the words apartheid, occupation, and Palestine during Jewish ritual, if you long for Jewish communities and ritual spaces that are grounded in and service to collective liberation,
Hineni.
if you look around and see the faces of strangers, old friends, new friends, people who you want to be your friends, exes of exes, if you are still figuring out if these people are your people, if all of this looking around is giving you social anxiety, if you have a crush on someone in this room or on this screen,
Hineni.
if your people spoke in languages your bones and tongue and ear remember and long for, if you have felt the pain of racism within Jewish communities and the pain of silence about racism within and from Jewish communities,
Hineni.
if you have been unable to be involved in Jewish life due to services that are physically, emotionally, and mentally inaccessible, if it's a struggle for your mind and body to be here, if you often feel like the only one in a room,
Hineni.
together we will say off of mute what is in the chat. Hineni, here I am. Hinenu, here we are. Just breathe that in. I hope you found some grounding in that. I hope one of those lines resonated with you. Now we're going to move into the more traditional Nusachi part of our service. We continue with Shochen Ad on page 241, in the middle of the page. Shochen Ad Marom V'kadosh Shemo V'chatu ranenu tzadikim Badonai le'sharim navatechila Befi Yesharim Titromam Uvdivrei tzadikim Titbarach Uvilshon Chasidim Titkadash Uvekerev Kedoshim Titalal. We turn the page. The middle of the page at the asterisk. Yishtabach Shimcha Le'ad Malkeinu Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol V'HaKadosh B'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz Ki Lachana Adonai Eloheinu V'Elokei Avotenu V'Imotenu Shiru V'Shacha Halel U'Zimra Ozu Memshala Netzah Gedula U'Gevara Techila U'Tiferet Kedosha Umalchut. Barachot va'odahot me'ata ve'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai al melech gadol batishbachot. El ha'odot Adonai niflaot. Habecher b'shirei zimra. Melech elhei ha'olamim. Hatzi Kaddish is on page 245. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabam. Ve'alma divrei chayotei ve'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala b'zman kariv v'meru amen. We respond together.
Hey, Shmei Rabba Mevarach Elam Rome Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata v'ushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. The Baruch Hu can be found on page 247. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed are you, eternal one, our God, the sovereign of all worlds, who fashions light and creates darkness, maker of peace and creator of all. We'll move to page 267. Et Shema El HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor VaHanara Kadosh Hu V'chulam Mikablim Alechem Ol Malchut Shamayim Zeh Mizeh V'notnim Be'hava Reshut Zeh Lazeh L'Hakdish Le'yotzram Menachat Ruach V'Sava B'Rara U'Vinima Kedusha Kulam Ke'echad Onim Ve'onim Be'ira Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavaot, Melochol Haaretz Kivodo. V'ha'ofanim v'chayot ha'kodesh, b'rash gadol mitnasim, le'umat serafim, le'umatam mishapchim v'omrim, Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo. Havurah Rabbah can be found between pages 273 and 275. This is all about love. So call up some love in your heart. Maybe it's for a person. Maybe it's for a place. Maybe it's for a thing. Maybe it's for yourself. Find where that love sits within your body. And from there, Ahava Rabba Ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu Cham Lagedolah V'tiracham al Ta'aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu Aurora Levins V'imotenu Shabbat Morning May V'talimtenu Chukei Chayim Ken Techonenu Utalamdenu, Avinu Ha'av Harachamam Harachem Rachem Aleinu V'tem B'Libeinu L'chavimu L'skil Lishmo L'ilmod L'lamed Lishmor L'la'asot U'lekayem Et Kol Divrei Talmud Toratecha Be'achava. V'hayareinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yachel levavenu le'ahava ul-yira et shemecha, v'lo nevosh melo nikalem v'lo nikashel olam va'ed, ki b'shem kodecha hagadol v'chanora batachnu, v'akilav nismacha b'shuatecha. We've now come to the Shema. If you would like to, you can cover your eyes. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Continue the Ve'ahavta, alternative Ve'ahavta by the Puerto Rican Jewish poet Aurora Levins Morales. Say these words when you lie down and when you rise up, when you go out and when you return, in times of mourning and in times of joy. Inscribe them on your doorposts, embroider them on your garments, tattoo them on your shoulders, teach them to your children, your neighbors, your enemies. Recite them in your sleep here in the cruel shadow of empire. Another world is possible. Thus spoke the prophet Roque Dalton. Altogether, they have more death than we, but altogether, we have more life than they. There is more bloody death in their hands than we could ever wield, unless we lay down our souls to become them, and then we will lose everything. So instead, imagine winning. This is your sacred task. This is your power. Imagine every detail of winning, the exact smell of the summer streets in which no one has been shot. The muscles you have never unclenched from worry gone soft as newborn skin. The sparkling taste of food when we know that no one on earth is hungry, that the beggars are fed, that the old man under the bridge and the woman wrapping herself in thin sheets in the back seat of a car and the children who suck on stones nest under a flock of roofs that keep multiplying their shelter. Lean with all your being towards that day when the poor of the world shake down a rain of good fortune out of the heavy clouds and justice rolls down like waters. Defend the world in which we win as if it were your child. It is your child. Defend it as if it were your lover. It is your lover. When you inhale and when you exhale, breathe the possibility of another world into the 37.2 trillion cells of your body until it shines with hope. Then imagine more. Imagine rape is unimaginable. Imagine war is a scarcely credible rumor, that the crimes of our age, the grotesque inhumanities of greed, the sheer and astounding shamelessness of it, the vast fortunes made by stealing lives, the horrible normalcy it came to have, is unimaginable to our heirs, the generations of the free. Don't waver. Don't let despair sink its sharp teeth into the throat with which you sing. Escalate your dreams. Make them burn so fiercely that you can follow them down any dark alleyway of history and not lose your way. Make them burn clear as a starry drinking gourd over the grim fog of exhaustion, and keep walking. Hold hands. Share water. Keep imagining, so that we and the children of our children's children may live. Breathe that in. Imagine a new world. We'll continue silently for a few moments through the biblical portions of the Shema, and we'll meet together on page 291. Third line, page 299. This is an Iraqi tune. Mi chamocha elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot o sefele. Mi chamocha elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot o sefele. Mi chamocha elim Adonai, mi kamocha nendar bakodesh nora tehilot o sefele. As you pick this up, please come off mute and sing for us a line. Yada da da da, yada da da da, yada da da, yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da, yada da da da, yada da da da, yada da da da, yada da da, yada da 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 da. Mi chamocha elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot o sefele. Anyone else would like to sing a verse? Now is your time. Yada da da da, yada da da da, yada da da, yada da 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 da. Thank you, Sonia.
I'm sorry, I don't know actually the verse too well, so I will just listen some more.
Thank you. It was beautiful. We're about to enter into the silent Amidah. I'll take some time for silent reflection, and I'll bring you back with a song. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Lifteichenu Mecha Yehuda Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Take some silent time for reflection, for your personal prayer. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. Place peace and goodness and blessing on the world. Grace, loving kindness, compassion on us. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. Place peace and goodness and blessing on the world. Grace, loving kindness, compassion on us. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. This song is by my classmate Koach. You should feel free to come up and take a verse. Koach is an incredible human and Jew of color. You may have seen him and joined them for Havdalah recently. Sim shalom, it's your turn. Take a verse or some words or not. Yai-da-dai, 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 yai-da-dai. Sim shalom. Who's gonna sing? Sing shalom.
Sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. Sim shalom, oh, sim shalom. Yada, yada, yada.
Sim shalom. Sim shalom. Someone else. Don't be shy. Just that much. You can do it. We're all here to support you. Sim shalom.
Shalom. Sim shalom. Sim shalom. Oh, sim shalom. Lai 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 lai.
Sing shalom, sing shalom, sing shalom. Peace to all, peace to all, peace to all the world.
Anyone else? Sim shalom. Sim shalom. Oh, sim shalom. Last
Sing
time.
shalom. Sing shalom, sing shalom, sing shalom, sing shalom. Sing shalom, sing shalom.
Place peace and goodness and blessing on the world. Grace, loving kindness, compassion on us. By Koach Baruch Frazier. Who's ready to learn some Torah? Cool. We're just gonna have a chat today. So this week we read from Parsha Bechar, Bechukotai. We're going to focus on Parsha Bechar this morning, and I'm going to read to you the beginning of this portion, Leviticus chapter 25, verses 1 through 7, where we're going to learn about Shemitah. So, the Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, When you enter the land that I assign to you, the land shall observe a Sabbath of the Lord. 6 years you may sow your field, and 6 years you may prune your vineyard and gather in the field. But in the 7th year, the land shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, a Sabbath of the Lord. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard. You shall not reap the aftergrowth of your harvest or gather the grapes of your untrimmed vines. It shall be a year of complete rest for the land. But you may eat whatever the land during its Sabbath will produce. You, your male and female slaves, the hired and bound laborers who live with you, and your cattle and the beasts in your land may eat all its yield. So the land, every 7th year, gets to, or we are supposed to allow it to just rest, right? To chill out. We're not going to tend to it. We're not going to reap from it. We're just going to let it recover. This is what we call Shemitah. And to give us some framing in our calendar, we are coming up on the end of the 6th year in the Shemitah cycle. So when we get to high holidays this year, which are coming up in early September, wherever you are in person or virtual or in some sort of hybrid fashion, we will be entering 5782, the Shemitah year. What is that going to mean? What is that going to mean post-pandemic? What does it mean in the face of climate change to just let the land, let the earth rest and recover? What part do we have to allow that to happen? To allow the earth to heal? What is it in ourselves that we need to heal, that we need to practice to allow the land to also heal? This portion is pretty cool, I think, right? Because everything with Shemitah is about our relationship to time. It's about our relationship to work and rest and release. It's about equality and inequity and how we like balance these things. And later on in the portion, we actually read about a forgiveness of debt, right? Our portion is teaching us about economic justice, when during the Shemitah and actually really during the Jubilee, the 50th year, our debts should be forgiven. There's so much to learn in this portion. And I just kind of want to open up the floor for discussion. What do you make about this portion? What have we been through in this past year, in the last 6 years? That can kind of give light to what are some things that we need to lay fallow this year in this upcoming Shemitah year. What debts literally and figuratively need to be forgiven this year, now? And yeah, and also just thinking about what have these 6 years held, right? What has brought us to this moment? And what is the flip side that we're going to reach in September for a year going to look like? So let's spend like 10 minutes and just have a conversation with each other. So this time you don't have to sing. So if you're not comfortable singing, maybe you're more comfortable speaking, and I would love to hear your voice. Shemitah, rest for the land, a Sabbath, a year-long Sabbath. What do we need to let lay fallow?
Just thinking about what you're saying, like I feel like so many people have given up so much this past year. And just thinking about the Shemitah year coming, that it's coming, it's just I feel like it's just this opportunity to start fresh and new as we emerge or reemerge back into our routines. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like so many people have carried such a tremendous burden for the last year and a half because of COVID. And many have carried more of a burden than others. And if there was a way in the coming year that we can relieve those of that kind of burden and give them some support and room to get themselves, their own selves back, to re-energize themselves, we would be doing a great service to our communities.
Yeah. Supporting the most marginalized and allowing them to have a Shemitah year.
Yeah.
Making that possible for everyone. I saw you unmute and raise your hand, Ellen.
Yeah.
Rabbi Lippman.
Yeah. Well, on the debt forgiveness side, many people have a lot of debts forgiven. For me, probably starting with nurses. But I was actually thinking about the land piece that you were talking about yesterday. I spent a lot of time on a highway going way out from Brooklyn, New York to the end of Long Island for a funeral. And there was tons of traffic, like traffic jams everywhere. And I was remembering the time early in the pandemic when all the streets were empty. And if you remember seeing all those pictures of like kangaroos on highways and penguins crossing the road and all the sort of openness to nature that our receding made possible. Now, our receding had pain and death connected to it as well, but our rush to return is something I'm concerned about, and wondering how we can retain some of that receding that we did that let some of the rest of the natural world emerge. How do we try to create a new balance? I'm not sure there's a lot of willingness or interest in it, but I think we're going to rush headlong into damage. And I'm concerned about that, as well as all the damage done to the people that need our attention and rewriting, right sizing so much.
Yeah, beautiful. I hear in what you're saying that we got a glimpse of what Shemitah is for the land, maybe for the animals, for, when we stopped as humans, some things actually came back to life and reemerged. Trick, I saw you unmute.
Yeah, so kind of thinking about what Rabbi Lippman was saying, I'm remembering like those first images that started coming out maybe a month or two after everything shut down, of like Venice waters being clear, and like us being able to suddenly see animals and creatures in the water that had been so polluted, and it took such little time for us to start to see such little space that we had to give the earth to breathe, for us to be able to see the repair starting to happen. And then on the other side, I'm a teacher, so I think this year we went from everybody kind of lauding us to kind of saying, but hold on, now the kids don't have X, Y, and Z. And I think realizing that like we can't ask all of society's problems to be solved by one group of people. Like we really, like this to me and to many teachers exposed so many things that are invisible in our society and that children need especially, and families need especially, that is being provided by educators and schools, and that needs to be seen, and we're seeing it now. And we need to accept the responsibility as a society to let the earth breathe, to give kids and families what they need, to accept that everybody has the right to the very basics, whether it's the animals, the earth, the people on the earth. We have the right. Our kids have the right to eat. Our kids have the right to medical care. And we can't hide it in systems that we already know are burdened, underfunded, and unfair. And so as like we go into this next year, I know what a lot of educators are asking is how now that we have really exposed like all of these holes in our society, what can we do? We've given this space, we've given the earth space, we've given our systems space. We've seen what exists that we didn't want to look at. How do we accept responsibility for that and move on in a way that is fair and equitable and accepts that we all have responsibility to meet these needs on every level?
I work in education also, and I think that now the important discussions are, how do you keep the things that are good for kids and good for teachers? One of the, I think, most powerful things with the space is we gave people grace. We're going to allow you to do your work in a couple of days before we mark you absent. we're compassion over compliance. If you can come take the test, come take the test. If you can't, it's okay. And in doing that, we make the space for, like in our system of having, we didn't have class on Wednesday all year. We had Wellness Wednesday, and we offered meditation and yoga and all these things that were so needed. And I do worry, like Rabbi Litton was saying, with the rush back, everybody's like, oh, 5 days a week next year, don't have to worry about childcare. But then it's like, well, but when are we going to take care of everybody? So I think it's this real balance between getting back some of those good routines. Like, it's good to get up and get dressed and eat healthy things and take care of yourself, but like keeping some of the space and rest and time. And I don't think we know how to do that, because it's so easy to slip back into the system. And then all of the agencies that were touting compassion over compliance are going to be speaking compliance next year. So I think we do need some sort of advocacy for well-being, and particularly in the United States, like, how do we want to work? Is it, let's be healthy, let's have balance. And I do see particularly a lot of educators and teachers reclaiming that, saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to work 70 hours a week because I have to take care of myself. And kids, you're not going to do 3 hours of homework a night, because that's not reasonable. So I think we could take the space to make a new better, but we have to sort of have those courageous conversations to say, like, yeah, we don't want normal again. Normal wasn't so great.
I did a blog post about what I called the now normal, because everyone's like, oh, we want to get back to normal, go back to what we had or what used to be. And there's not a going back. I think that so much has changed. There's, even like, look at our service, it is virtual. I think there's still some elements of what we started in 2020 that's going to move forward, which is going to be really, it's going to be really good. I was like, the now normal, I called it time in, like 2021. Let's first sit down and release what we don't want in 2020. For instance, unwanted habits that you may have developed, expressing negative thinking and attitudes and fears. Let's take some time and think about what you do want in 2021. Interesting with this, because I wrote this really early last year. How about something new and different that you created? That we had so much time, well, some of us, I'm retired, so had time on their hands to create and to do different things. I created I teach dance and fitness. I created virtual classes, which I'm going to keep going with those. it brought women together across the country. And I wouldn't have that, even in the studio classes. I don't see going back to some of the studios because I've got people who are online that it has enriched them. If I go back in the studio, they wouldn't be able to get to the studio. So I think looking at new attitudes, much more grateful for the little things and writing them down daily. I think that is something to really take a look at, is that, you know, each morning, or some people want to do it at night, what are you grateful for? You know, we've had time to stop and think about that in 2020. I know for some people sitting around and not doing their regular things or what have you was mind-blowing for them. But for some people, it also gave them a space to feel and do things that they hadn't done before and share with other people that may not have come together, i.e. this, what we have here, you know, what Rabbi Sandra is bringing to all of us and helping us all create. So just random thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's shared. I hear some hope. Sonia, okay, last word. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, thank you for making space. I think I like the part about like resting and repairing I think part of that, and the different animals, like, you know, coming onto the, you know, in the space that humans used to occupy, that I think is possible when things are able to be local, like when we can know neighbors, when we can find people local. Something I'm concerned about is like, how do we create new spaces online, but also like try to make them local too. So like even people who are local can't get there, but can come online, that's awesome. But like if our spaces online are from people all like so far away, we're using those spaces to discuss things that should be discussed locally, then we have to like be aware, like, okay, how is this impacting like our organizing and stuff? Like, are people being pulled away because they think this is the only space, so they're not looking online for other local spaces that are online as well, or not? And that's something that I want to keep in mind, that I think creating, like, what I'm dreaming of is like local, like just like on the corner street, like processing spaces together, like transformative justice spaces where we know that there's a space here in nature, like in this foresty area, where we can just, or food garden, we can just come, and anytime people just come in, and the purpose is to just process things, trauma, or make meaning of things, and just like exchange wisdom. So like kind of like more community place, but not like buildings have to go in and like all that stuff, just more accessible, I guess, less gatekeepy. But we need those spaces to process trauma, because otherwise it will just be recreate. I think we can create spaces for people to heal and for marginalized people to rest by helping people who have multiple privileges to process trauma. Like people who have the capacity to help people process trauma is going to be so important, I think, to prevent scapegoating and stuff.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who has shared their Torah today, who has shared their lived experiences of this past year and the lessons they have learned, and that they wish for all of us to hear, so that we can take these learnings forward into this post emerging out of pandemic as we knew it world. And for sharing your dreams. This is definitely an ongoing conversation. Thank you for getting it started. We're coming to the end of our service. Just to give you an overview of the last few things we're going to do. Right now, we're going to say Ami Shaberach, and then Aleinu, and then Mourner's Kaddish and announcements. Okay, so we're getting to the end. Thanks for being here. So it's time for our Misha Berach, for our healing prayer. At this time, I invite you to say out loud or to put in the chat anyone or any place in this world that you would like to send healing to. For all of these names and places, named and unnamed, we will sing this Misha Berach that I learned from the folks at Mending Minyan in New Haven, Connecticut. This is written by Sarah Epstein. Yai, dai, 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 dai. 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 Healing to you, my friend. Light is with you now. Love is with you now. We are with you now. Yai, dai, 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 dai. 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 Healing to you, my friend. Light is with you now. Love is with you now. We are with you now. The Aleinu is on page 445. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula le'yotzer bereshit. Shenatan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו ופסולתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת יום מהשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר וחי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו U'Shema Echad. We conclude with the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 451. If there is someone you are remembering, I invite you to say their name out loud or in the chat.
My mother, Flora May Lawson.
For those names spoken or written, unnamed or on our hearts, we recite the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 451. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirotei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei kudesha v'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'elma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May all of their memories be for a blessing. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for singing, for sharing your Torah, for being present, and for being here for this experiment. I'll turn the floor over to Rabbi Sandra for announcements at this time.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and May, thank you for guiding us, praying with us, leading us, and showing us your wisdom. I know that I gained a lot from today, and I hope all of you have as well. You know, it wouldn't be a service without announcements, like seriously, it wouldn't be a community without announcements. But I want to tell you all a little bit about what's happening here. Kol HaPanim, which we're translating as all faces, because all people are welcome. We are an emerging community, a community that is led by Jews of color, and we are funded and supported by the Rise Up Initiative, Nourishing the Soul for Social Justice, and the Center for Rabbinic Innovation, and you all. I'm going to put this in the chat. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so if you want to support Kol HaPanim through funding, please feel free to do so. Just put a link in the chat. We are a 501c3, so your donation will be tax deductible. And as I mentioned before, we are an emerging community, and that we started from the ground up, and this is one of the blessings of COVID. And if you want to stay connected and learn what is happening with us, please join our Facebook group, which I put there. After the service, I'll keep the Zoom open for a little longer. If people want to chat with May or myself or each other, please feel free to do so. And you can always reach out to me if you have questions. This has been a great experiment, and we're going to keep doing it. And we have Shabbat services right now, once a month on the second Shabbat. One of the things that I want to do as a rabbi is support Jews of color, support spiritual Jewish leaders of color, and support rabbinical students. So for the last three services we've had, our last two services we've had awesome rabbinical students come. They've come from the Reconstructionist movement, but I'm also making connections with rabbinical students who are in other schools. So thank you, and thank you, May. Today was awesome, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. And I'll let May close us out with a nigun or a song.
I'm just gonna sing y'all out, or sing until y'all decide to stay and join me for a chat. Yeah, da da da, da 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 da, da da da, da 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 da, da da da, da 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 da, da da da, da da da, da 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 da da, da da da, da da da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, This is your last chance to take a verse. I'm not done yet. Please come off mute and sing along. Good Shabbos.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
So much.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everybody.
So beautiful.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And if you want to stick around and talk to May for a little bit, or myself, please feel free to do so, or go, no pressure. I'll just keep it open until the last person leaves.
Thank you so much. I think I have to go because I have some things to get doing, but I would like to talk more later.
Please come back, Sonia.
Okay. Thank you, y'all. Be well. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you both.
Thank you, Heidi. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I'm trying to figure out how to leave. It's different on different devices. I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, Heidi. Heidi made this talit for me.
Oh.
Yeah, people ask me, but she doesn't want to go into business of making talit. Thank you so much. I think these people might be asleep. I'm not sure. which is great. Cool. But thank you so much. It was great. And I'll send you an email tomorrow. But thank you so much, or Monday or someday soon, so that I can pay you. But today was great. You did an awesome job, and I hope you feel it. And let me know how I can continue to support you, because I want to support you and other rabbinical students. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.